Hi everyone, so it's been so long that I'm not online for my YouTube channel, but now I'm back. So make sure to watch this video till the end. It's gonna be fun for you if you haven't completed your basics of competitive programming. So let's get started. It's been raining, so let's start. It's Teachers Day, so I should be doing something. So let's do this. Hi everyone, what's going on? In this video, we're gonna cover these topics. I was in grade 11. I just started competitive programming, and that with C++. But at that time there was older version of C++ that was just C++, not even C++11. So at that time I learned pretty much, but when I turned to my college days, then there are a lot of features added to C++. So this video is intended to make you understand the things that you should know before starting competitive programming with C++17. Definitely it's very good language for this purpose. So the reason this video is meaningful for you, there are just two possibilities. Either you are using these things but you do not know how they work, or secondly, you do not know how these things are, what they do and all that, and here you are just to make sure that you learn everything that you need to get started, nothing gets missed, and it's like a perfect combo for all those things that you need to get started. So without any further ado, let's get started. So we are gonna cover these things. So firstly, I'll start my VS Code. Here I'll be coding parallelly so you understand everything perfectly. Firstly, we have the static and dynamic arrays. I hope you understand arrays. The arrays are basically the contiguous memory allocation for a defined data type. Okay, what I mean by that is that if you have say 10 elements, then you have assigned 10 blocks of memory that are contiguous, that these blocks will store this type of data, and that is it. Okay, now I am expecting this as your prerequisite, so I won't be explaining too much about this. So basically the difference between arrays and vectors is that arrays are static. You have to predefine their size before using them, and this is it. About vectors, the only major difference between arrays and vectors is that vectors have dynamicity. What I mean by that is that they are dynamic. You can push any number of elements to it and pop, definitely up to the maximum push limits, and you can pop elements and there is no restriction of assigning size before using them, or it's basically dynamic. So I hope you understand what about that. So how we use vectors, basically we will start with declaration. So suppose we have a vector, so this is keyword for starting that. This way we pass a data type and this is the name of vector. This is it, it's declared. Now if I want to push some elements, so I'll be using like v dot pushback. Say I want to push 3, then I am just pushing same thing again and again just to do this fast. And now I'll be printing these values, but before that I want to tell you that auto is a special way. Okay, let me highlight this. Auto is this keyword in the C++17 that is used to make compiler do it itself or automatically. What I mean by that is there is a loop for every data set that is accessed with iterators. I'll come to that. Basically what we do for now, it will automatically assign the data type of I. Okay, because I'm initializing it right now. So basically I is over this vector. Okay, and this way I'm just iterating over this vector where I is the element coming number wise as it's in for loop. So just printing I will give me value stored in vector. So this is our simple go, and 333 here it is. Let's do more interesting things to this, like 5, in order to just make you understand the order. So basically every element is inserted at the back, okay, because it's push back. So 3 is inserted, then 5, then 4. So when I'll be printing this, it will print 354 or 354 actually. Yeah, so this is it. We can also pop here because it's dynamic, so I can use v dot pop back, okay, and it will just pop the last element. So 4 will be popped here, so it will now print 35 only. So here it is 35. Basically what we do, we just declare it this way, okay. You should just take a screenshot, okay, this way you will declare it, and this is how you just insert to it. You can insert it like this way. Suppose you have to insert n elements to this, so for int I from 0 to I is less than 5, so you want to insert 5 elements, and I plus plus. So what we're gonna do, v dot push back. What do you want to push back? Either I can push back either I can push back I, or what I can do is just read x. What is x? X is an integer, okay, so we just read x every time, and we will push back x to this way. I'll read 5 elements and store them in this vector. This is how it goes with vector. You can further study about this, but this is most of it, so I am just completing it here. Now let's remove all this. Next we have, okay, after completing arrays and vectors, we have this sort function. This sort function is quite useful, especially in competitive programming. So what we do, we use this function to sort any vector. So let's get that back, okay, and here I inserted these elements to my vector, okay, 3 5 4, okay, let's not delete 4. So 3 5 4 is here, so I printed them. Now what I'm gonna do, I'll use the sort function. Sort function will take 2 parameters, first iterator and last iterator. If I'll use first iterator like this and last like this, then it's gonna sort it in ascending order. So if I just print it again, then it won't be 3 5 4, it will be 3 4 5 this time. So okay, I should add next line over there so it won't mix up. Okay, and let's run this. So here it is 3 5 4 and 3 4 5, so it's simply sorted. So this sort function takes 2 parameters. If I want to sort this in descending order, then what can I do is I'll just use r begin and r end, okay, this way it will just sort it in descending order, okay. So let's run this. This is it, okay. So this way we do this. Now about sort function, it works for arrays as well. So suppose I have an array int ar, okay, its size can be 5, okay, and what I'll do, I'll just make a loop, okay, for int I is from 0 and I is less than 5, I plus plus, I'll just read ari, and this is it. Now to sort this, what I'll do, in arrays we do not use begin and end, that is for vectors, okay. So what we'll do, ar and ar plus 5, basically 5 is just the size of array up to which we want to sort this, okay. And now to print that, I'll use ar only, okay, this way it will do this. So let's run this. It will take 5 parameters, then sort them and print them. So let's run this. It will take 5 parameters, so inserting 5 2 4 3 1, okay, it is just sorted. Now it is sorted, this is it. So this is how we use sort function, and auto is keyword that's used to define the data type of any variable by itself, okay. Empty is not something I'm really interested to teach, but I just added it because, okay, so these bold keywords are really important. But about this empty function, what it do is just tells if any data set is empty or not. So clearly this vector is not empty here. So suppose I want to check if it's empty or not. So what I'll do, if v is empty, then see out hello. Okay, clearly it's not empty, so it's not gonna print hello. And here's the proof, it is not printing hello. Now if I'll put if this is not empty, then print hello. So it's not empty, so now it's gonna print hello. Okay, now let's move ahead. So we are up to here. Now size, clearly size tells the size of any data set. So suppose I want to know the size of this vector v. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, firstly I'll print next line over there. Now print v dot size. Okay, it will tell the size of this vector. Clearly I have 3 elements in it, so it will print 3 in third line, and here it is. It works good for any set or anything that I'm gonna teach ahead. Okay, next we have the find function. This find function basically tells the iterator for the first occurrence of an element. What I mean by that is that suppose I insert say what? Okay, let's copy this and paste it here. Now it's gonna be 3 4 5 5, or actually it's gonna be 5 5 4 3 because it's sorted in descending order. So now what I'm gonna do, I'll just okay, so in this entire vector just find 3, and whenever you just find it, take that iterator and reduce first iterator out of it, so it will tell the location of index of that variable, actually that number 3. Okay, so because it is sorted in descending order, so 3 after sorting should be at index what, 0 1 2 3. So 3 should be index of this variable, so it should print 3 in third line. So let's run this, and here it is. Okay, so this way we use find function. Okay, now talking about count, so simply it just tells the count. Okay, so how we gonna do that is, okay, we can't reduce any iterator from this, and now it should work. Actually 3 is only once, so let's do this for 5. Now 5 is available twice here, so it will return 2, so 2 will be in the third line, and here it is. Now moving to the set. Okay, iterators is something used for traversing, or you can say that just accessing an element. So we just declare it this way. If you want to declare it explicitly, then how you can do that is uh, say vector, then this, now it's iterator, and this is equals to v dot begin. Okay, this way it starts from first location, and I made some mistake again. Okay, I have to add the name of this iterator. So it is commonly used name for this iterator. Okay, so it is the name of this iterator, and this iterator basically iterates over this. It is started with this value, and when it will be increased every time, then it will just move up to ahead. Okay, one more thing to tell you about iterators is that suppose we have a set. Okay, set of anything. It's not that set of C++ 70 that I'm gonna teach here. It is just a simple set of some elements. Suppose you have 1, then 2, then 6, then 8, then 4. Okay, suppose this is our set. So basically what happens is that at this point this one. Okay, how should I point this one? This point is our v dot begin. Okay, and this is our v dot end. Okay, so you must be thinking that what's it? Basically v dot begin is first element. Okay, it is iterator for first element, while v dot end do not point to any element that is outside of this. So it's also known as semi closed or semi open, because iterators are starting at some value but end is out of all values. Okay, so if you just type, okay, one more thing to tell you is that when we use find function, we use this and thing. Okay, so basically, as I told you that the begin points to first element while end points to the outside of that entire set. So what we do is, if I put the condition that find in this, okay, to this, okay, and if you find, if you find 5, okay, okay, we just try to find this, and if this is not equals to end of this, okay, what this find function do, basically it just look for first occurrence. If looking for the first occurrence, if it goes to end, then we could not find that element. But if that is not equals to this means we find the element. So then we do this. Okay, I hope it makes sense to you now. This is how find function works. Then moving ahead to set. Now this is actual thing I'm here to teach you. Basically there's a lot to talk about this, but I'm gonna scheme over it. The main thing that you need to get started. Okay, so it basically starts with this keyword. Here's data type and s. Now let's come to the main stuff. Okay, I should just maximize the screen. Basically set is defined as having two properties, sorted and unique. Okay, this means set is the well-defined collection of elements which are sorted, okay, in ascending order, and they are unique. This means one can't be inserted twice. If we will try to do that, then a second attempt won't affect the code. Okay, if we are inserting same thing again and again, then only first time it works, rest of time it do not do anything, because that is already present in the set. This is property of set. Because everything is inserted in sorted order by self, we do not do that. Okay, okay, let's come to our thing again. So I made set. Let's implement this, then only you'll understand this. So s dot insert, here we use insert because it do not push it back, it just insert in ascending order by self. So suppose I want to insert 7, then I want to insert 7 again. Now you'll see the effect. Okay, now this time I want to insert say 6. Okay, so clearly I inserted 3 elements, but only 2 will be added to that, and that in sorted order. So if I make an iterator over this, okay, and print, then it should print only 67. Okay, because it's sorted and only once 7 was added. So here is 67. Okay, I hope you understood. Now basically, because everything is inserted in ascending order, this means it's having some algorithm in between. So basically it uses sorting by implementing tree. Okay, and okay, this tree just increases the complexity of insertion from 1, because that was 1 in vectors, now it is log n. Okay, so in the worst case it can go up to log n. Okay, it's not in the best case. In the best case you can just find the first position that's good for it. Okay, so this is how we inserted and printed this. Okay, I can also delete from this set and that would be again of order of log n, because a tree has to maintain its order. So if we will delete anything, then it's again gonna take log n. Okay, if you want me to delete something, then I'll just do that. Okay, oh sorry, erase and then 7. Okay, basically 7 was inserted once, although we tried it twice, but it was inserted once, and then 6 was inserted, then 7 was erased, so only 6 should be the output, and here it is. Okay, now coming to multiset, basically multiset is nothing but just the set that can have multiple occurrence. Okay, what I mean by multiple occurrence is that if we declare it as multiset, okay, and now what's wrong with it? Type name is not allowed. What do they mean with it? Okay, what the hell I'm doing? So this is our multiset, and I inserted 7, then 7, then 6, then 7. Now 7 was inserted twice, and then 6 was inserted, but because it is sorted, so it will store 677 by here, then it will erase 7 for the first time. Okay, actually it won't erase it once, it will erase it twice in this case. Let's test it. Yes, it erased it twice, but if I want to erase it only once, then what I am to do is find what find 7. Okay, so whenever 7 will be find here, will be encountered here for the very first time, it will delete that. So now 7 will be deleted only once, because it will just find 7 once, delete that, then it's over. It's not gonna delete every 7. So this time it will print 67. Okay, here it is. So basically this is the difference between the set and multiset. It allows duplicacy. Okay, there is nothing like unique. Clearly if it's doing everything in sorted manner, so it's again using this tree thing. Okay, so its insertion and deletion has complexity of log n. Now coming to unordered set. Unordered set clearly states that it's set. This means everything is unique, but because it's unordered, so it's not sorted. As simple as that. Okay, so if I just use unordered set, then I'll just insert 776. I'll delete 7 once. Okay, actually it doesn't matter if I use find or not, because it's set, not multi-set, so it will only have 7 once up to here. Okay, so there will be 7 6, and then once 7 will be deleted, then you won't get the order. So let's remove this statement. Now these three statements are executed. Okay, and now I'll run this. You'll see that 7 will be available only once, but the set is not sorted every time. Okay, this time it's sorted, but if I add more elements, say this, and then this, then this, okay, and suppose I add 2, then I add 5, then I add 12. Okay, so now everything won't be sorted because it is unordered set. See, it's 12 firstly, then 7, then 2, then 6, then 5. So it's basically unordered simply. Okay, so this is the thing that I'm to tell you on my whiteboard. So here's my whiteboard. Basically, what is this bucket thing? Suppose we are inserting some elements here. Okay, and here's the whole set thing that's gonna happen. So it will have a function just at this insertion point. Okay, this function will release two things, okay, not just the value but also an address. So suppose here's an address, okay, I'm just making it like this, and here's the value, okay. So it will have some buckets. This is bucket concept because things are not sorted, but insertion and deletion has complexity 1, okay. So what it do, it managed to create a function by self and manage all buckets by self, okay. We need not to bother about that, but how it works is this function generate two values, the value that was inserted to it and the address at which bucket this value is to store. So suppose I have three buckets, say 1, then 2, and then 3. So basically it will tell that store this element at this location. So suppose an element is sent to this, then it will be stored here or to any other bucket, and this is it. Every time it will be inserted by this address. Basically this function is nothing but just hash function, okay, if you have studied about it. If you haven't, then it's all fine. Then this is how it works. So every time anything is inserted to it, it just goes to this, gets the address, go to that address and gets stored. So it's having the complexity order of 1. Same way for deletion, if I want to delete something, it will be sent here, then it will get two things, the address from which and the element that is to be deleted, okay. So it will simply go there and delete that. Now question arises, are we inserting only one element to a bucket? Actually no, the bucket has all the variables or actually all the values that were having this address, okay. Now it might be complicated for you to think that how to deal with that, but actually that's not something you need to worry about. It will automatically design a function that will try to minimize and equalize elements in all buckets. So it's like three elements here, then three here, and then three here. It's not always like this, but it will try to do this. It may be the case that you have sorry for the deletion of that bucket. It may be the case that it has 2 here, 4 here, and 3 here, okay. That may be the case, and that's all right, but it will try to equalize all of them. This is how it works. Its complexity of insertion and deletion is 1. Same way we deal with multisets. Okay, I should firstly tell you the implementation of this unordered set. So I just told you, okay, I ran this and it will insert all these things, and it's here unordered, okay. Next thing we have is unordered multiset. Now what unordered multiset do is that, clearly you can understand with its name, that it is having unordered and allowing multiple entries, okay. So this time if I write here unordered multiset, then we have this, okay. If I run this, then it will allow 7 to come twice, okay, to get inserted into this set twice, okay. So this time it will print 7 twice, and here it is, see, 7 is twice. Now one more thing to tell you is that because the value inserted here is basically passed to a function and the key is generated. What do I mean by keys? That is the address. So if I pass same value twice, this means same address will be generated. So in unordered multiset, all duplicate entries will be stored in same bucket. What do I mean by that is, if there is a 4 3 times, then 4 will be here, okay, all 4 will be here. Okay, that was just count of elements, but suppose 3 is inserted here, 4 is here, 2 is here. So if I insert more than once 4, then all 4s will be stored in same bucket. Same for 3, for 2. Okay, this is how it goes. Again, it's using this bucket concept because it's unordered. Okay, that's the thing. Why is it unordered, not same as the vector? Okay, now I hope many of you guys understood the actual meaning of this unordered and all that, why complexity is order of 1 and why it has a complexity of order of log n and all that. This tree and bucket thing might be new for some of you. Okay, coming to the map thing, the last thing after which I'll just end this video. We have these two keywords for the map. So basically how it goes is, basically I'll make you understand with this. So the map is defined as the key value pair. And what is key value pair? There is a key, okay, that is like ID. Okay, do not consider it as exactly ID. Okay, it is just key. If you will consider it as ID, then you will be surprised to know that multi-map has same IDs for different elements. So don't consider it as ID, just consider it as some value and some other value attached to it. Okay, that is map. So in map again there is sorted thing and unique key is there. So insertion and deletion will be of order of log n, and tree will be used to implement this. That is it. If I just code here, so I'll have like suppose I have map, okay, integer and integer. Map has name m, okay, and now I'll just change it to m, and again it's gonna make some issues, but don't worry about that. Basically what we do to deal with it is m, and just take any key. Okay, any key you want. Suppose you want to pair 3 with 2. Okay, so this is the key and this is having value 2. This is it. Key 3 is having value 2, as simple as that. Okay, and if you want to just print that, then print first. Okay, and then this, just to show, okay, that's not a syntax, and then this, so it will print 3 dash 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 2. Okay, so if I run this, okay, it's recording. I just die out of battery. So simply it just printed 3 dash 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 2. Okay, I can simply add more elements to this map. So if I want to add say 5 with 4, so it will just do that. So this time I'll get, okay, I should add next line with it, so it do not get confusing. So here it is. Okay, now I inserted it in sorted order, so you might be considering what's gonna happen next. So what I'll do, I'll just insert 1 with say 5. Okay, so basically it sort everything on the basis of key. So if I inserted 3, 5, then 1, so now it will print 1 dash 5 times 5. In next line it will print 3 dash 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 2. In next line 5 dash 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 4. See, So this is how it works. 135 sorted. So its complexity of insertion and deletion is log n, and that is it. It works with a tree like thing. Okay, now coming to our multi-map. Okay, so time for multi-map, and it's having integer with integer. Okay, this time we won't be inserting to it like an array. We'll be using m dot insert, and this time we'll just insert a pair. Suppose 1 with 5. Okay, this is it. Next, m dot insert. Again, I can insert 1 with some other value because it's multi-map. So this with 6 works good. If I want to do it more, then I can insert the pair of, not 2 actually, 0 with 6. Now you'll see that it will print this firstly, okay, then this, and then this. Why so? Basically 0 is our primary thing to consider while sorting, but when primary thing is same, then we go for our values, okay, and we sort them according to values. So this is how it has, okay, 0 with 6, 1 with 5, 1 with 6. This is how it works with multi-map. So I hope it makes sense to you. Again, because it's inserting everything and deleting everything in sorted order, so it's implementing tree, and again tree, so insertion and deletion is of order of log n. That is it. There's lot more things to tell you about these things, but this is intended to just make you okay with head start. Okay, you will just start with CP. You won't be master at this. Clearly, just a half an hour video won't make you master of anything, but yeah, it will make you good to go. Same way, if I want to implement unordered map, so I can use unordered map. Okay, and its parameters will be integer only. I can make char integer as well. That's my choice. You can just try or do experiment yourself. I'm taking the name m again. Then m dot insert. Okay, insert what? Insert 6 with say 5. Okay, inserting it here, and then m dot insert. Okay, because it is unordered map, so it won't have multiple keys with same value. Matlab, I mean, it won't have same key more than once. Okay, so if I'll just insert the pair of 6 with 8 this time for auto it, and then m, then print it dot first, then this, and then this. Okay, also I should print next line so it won't mess up. Running this, we got 6 with 5 only. Now because it's unordered map and it's implementing bucket, so complexity of insertion and deletion will be log 1 only. Actually not log 1, it is 1 only. My bad guys. Okay, so 1 only, and it implements that same thing. Okay, that bucket thing you must remember. Okay, those buckets, a function that will take the value to be inserted or to be deleted, and will give two parameters: the address where it's to be stored or from where it is to be deleted, okay, along with the value. Okay, then we'll just go to that address, scroll that bucket, and just delete or insert there. Okay, so complexity is order of 1. Next we have unordered multi-map. Clearly it will allow multiple insertion, so this time if I'll use multi-map, then this is gonna print 6 5 and 6 8 both. Yes, so this is it. Clearly it's not having things sorted because it is unordered, and this is it. I hope you understood a lot about this. So just try to implement all these things. Possibly I'll release another part of this video soon. I'm not covering everything in one video because it would be really long to cover everything. It can't be covered in a single video. I just hurried everything up here, but I hope it makes sense to you, especially if you are new to this channel. Make sure to subscribe. Hit the like button if you really enjoyed it and learned something out of it.